So in today's student interview with Bobby Kim, he breaks down exactly how he's bringing 30 to 40,000 a month. Majority of that is actually from performance fee. So most of that billable is from performance, from his agency in the audiobook primarily space. And yeah, I've known Bobby for a year, well, actually over a year, no, around a year. And I remember last October, things were just popping off for him. So he signs a lot of his clients on a upfront like setup fee, and then from there percentage of ROAS, kind of like the deal that I don't know when this is going out, but kind of like a deal I signed last week, which was $12,000 upfront and then 30% return on ad spend. So yeah, with no further ado, I'll go ahead and roll the clip. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's student interview. We are joined with Bobby Kim, definitely a fan favorite in the community. Yeah, very, very cool to see what you've done with your agency. I think it's pretty much mirrors kind of, and correct me if I'm wrong, kind of what happened with me, which was like, I signed my first ever client in August of 2016. So basically for 2 years, I had a creative agency working with all sorts of clients. And then eventually once I started honing down on paid traffic, I was doing ads for gyms. And then eventually when at some point I was running ads for gyms, and I was like, at that point I had my info product and I had just started my education business. And I was like, literally in my bio, it says I'm on a mission to reform the education system. Like education means a lot to me, which is why we love the clients that we work with. So at some point I was like, all right, well, I'm doing this for myself. So why don't I just do this for other people as well? And why don't I have my own education business? Why don't I serve other education businesses? And it seems like that's kind of what you did, which is you had your own audiobook and Kindle publishing business.
Pretty much in a way. Yeah. So I started off as an author back in like 2016, 2017. And at the time, like this space is very new to marketing because a lot of people in this space aren't young, like on average, most people are like over 30, right? But not a lot of them understand like marketing. They understand how to make a good product, but like Facebook ads, Amazon ads, anything with like building your automation sequences on like email lists, lead gen, all that stuff. Like not a lot of them know how to like really execute on that. So when I got into the space, when I first started doing Facebook ads, it just made sense to me. So since then, I've been really able to, I started the agency in 2018 because like a lot of people, even though like at the time, like, I had my own stuff and I was showing people what I was doing, like a lot of them were like, well, I still don't get it. So that's when I kind of launched the agency. But, in the beginning stages, I think for like the first year or so, I didn't really like have anyone to help me or anything because it's a very tricky industry because, it's not like with info products or e-commerce where you can like track pixels and everything, there's a lot of guesswork and it sucks, at times, but eventually I kind of lean towards audiobooks because that's very like mechanical in a way. I don't have to have a lot of like creativity on the execution side. It's just really cut and paste in a sense. So that's when I was able to bring on a team member, and then we've been focusing more on that side so I can kind of lean away from what I was doing previously because like we make more money doing audiobooks, and I don't have to spend as much time with clients pretty much. So,
So your initial knowledge on how to get results for audiobook as well as initially publishing businesses stemmed from you trying to get more customers for yourself, from my understanding.
No, so I still have my own like publishing brand, it still makes me money every single year, but I think according to Amazon, only like a few thousand people actually make 6 figures a year, like through publishing. But out of that, like there's also like business people, like entrepreneurs and authors in general. So I just looked at it and I'm like, well, like nobody else is really like competing in this industry. There's not a lot of people that have like replicatable results because I've pretty much worked with like at this point, like over 100 people and all of them ended up doing really, really well, So the fact that I was able to like replicate stuff over and over and over again, where all these other people out there really can't do that, that's really kind of what set me apart. So but yeah, it's a lot of my own money in the beginning, basically, I spent my own money building the business and stuff.
So what was your timeline? Because I vividly remember you kind of just
Oh, okay.
You had a lot of, because I remember in 2019, a lot of posts in the community because you were just having, I mean, it seemed like every
So
single fucking week you're
timeline
signing a new client.
wise, I actually wrote my first book in 2013. So that's when I first got into publishing, but I made a few $100 when I was like 13 years old, right? So that's where they kind of like got this whole idea around it. But I didn't focus on it because I was going to school at the time, right? But when I was 17, I started working like as a ghostwriter, just learning the industry in and out. And then by the time I was 19, so I did it for about 2 years, just writing books for other people. I realized, because one of the clients I was working with was really very friendly, and she showed me her numbers and what she was paying me and what she was making, right? So I was like, oh shit, like I want to make what she's making, not like what she's paying me. So in 2017 was when I launched my first publishing business. It was basically, as we go out, like I was writing my own books at the time, but a lot of people in 2017 didn't really do Facebook ads, right? And I wanted to like automate it because a lot of people in 2017 at the time did a lot of SEO, blog posts, all that stuff, but that's not really like, it's all random marketing, right? So I started doing Facebook ads in 2017 and I was like 19 at the time. But by the end of the year in 2017, I made like 30 grand. But then 2018 was when I really started ramping up. I dropped out of school like January of 2018. So it's been a little over 2 years now. And for that year, I did over like $500,000. Profit was like 150, 200 grand roughly for the year, for just with the publishing stuff. But the fact was like, I was like 20, 21, and everyone else in the industry is like 30, 40, 50, right? So what happened though, however, was publishing is a great income. Like you can make a lot of money from it. But I kind of the issue is there's like payout delays. You have to put a lot of money up front. It's like a 2-month payout. So you have to be able to afford ad spend for 2 months before you get paid. So that's when I kind of looked into SMMA. I was like, well, like I know how to market for people. I spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point. I've coached a lot of people. Like, how can I make more money? So then I think that's when I kind of came across like your stuff on YouTube, and then I was like, oh, that's not a bad idea. Just taking the skills I have and just being able to like help other people achieve what I was able to achieve. But between like 2018, I think up to like June of 2019 was when I started realizing like, well, now I can't really do what I was doing previously because I have to put all my time towards other people. It's like, how do I like juggle this, like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I was able to charge people quite a bit, but it's just like, even in the early stages of 2019, like the agency was making like maybe 20 grand a month, like profit. Right. But it's just the fact that like, I was at my computer. I remember like one day, like in January, cause I started to do my taxes, right, for January, like to figure out for the rest of the year. I think I stayed home for like 5 days straight, just trying to figure everything out, So I think that's when I called you. I think that was the time when I called you for the Meridian Mastermind or something you're holding in Bali. And then, and then eventually in June, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to buy the program. Like, I can't really like figure out like, what am I doing wrong here? Like I have people pay me really well, but I hate my life. And like, I'm basically putting like an extra 30, 40 hours a week doing this. It's like, what am I doing wrong here? And then pretty much that's when I joined in June. And since then, I've been able to like systemize and automate the whole process to the point where now I have like 1.5, like I have one full-time team member and then one who's doing like part-time. So it's, life is good now, like I don't have that stress I used to have like last, compared to last year, it's been pretty great.
So what was the transition from, yes, making a lot of money, but you just felt like you hated having an agency, to now at this point where it seems, we were talking about off camera. I mean, you've pretty much entirely automated it. So now you can focus on some other priorities.
The funny thing, I think what really happened was when I first bought your program, the 6-figure SMMA, it was like June of like 2019 or whatever, right? I think once I like went through the videos and everything, like, how you talked about like building a team, you're not really building a business if you have to like work in the business, because like what happens if you like get hit by a car or you have like you get sick or something, like that kind of freaked me out too. I was thinking about it. I'm like, I'm pretty lucky.
It is a very interesting thought experiment. I mean, in your position or my position, I weirdly enough, I was thinking about it this morning. Very odd you mentioned that. I was genuinely thinking, I was like, what would happen if I got sick for 6 months, or I had some sort of, I got sick for 6 months, or, I mean, actually that was my main thought, but my business would run like totally fine. So How do you?
Yeah, so I think so that's when I really started taking the steps to kind of like another thing was like trimming the fat, because at the time I had a lot of clients, but only like 30 or 40% of them were paying for like 80 or 90% of the bills. So I ended up kind of trimming the fat off, trying to like work with who I have and scale them up instead. Because all of my deals now, all the client deals I get usually come with a percentage of either like gross or profit now. So now I don't have to have like all these clients that were paying me like flat fee retainers. Now I can just work with like literally I have like now I have, I think with my, so I still have some clients that I work with for their books and stuff. A lot of my audiobook stuff, like for audiobooks, I think I have like 35 people on board right now, and they're all paying me 25% like gross income on average. I even have a few people that pay me up to like 40% of their profits, because audiobooks have been such a huge like untapped market for this industry. The idea of making like 5 or 10 grand a month extra income is like huge. So even though I get like 25%, like I had like one person literally pay me like 4 grand or something for 25%, you know, she did like 16, you know? So with that, I've been able to automate with like 1.5 team members. And I still do a little bit of work with the clients I have, like it's like 6 or 7 of them that pay me like, remember, I think at Meridian Mastermind, I told you like, you know, like they pay me like 10, 20, 30 grand up front. And then they also pay me a percentage, you know? So even with those, like the clients I have for that, because now since they're paying me more, like, and I don't mind putting a little bit more time, but like 3 of them right now are literally paying me like almost like 15, 20 grand a month, like profit, you know, just 3. So the whole idea for me is like, if I can get all 6 or 7 up and running, you know, and then I also have my audiobook stuff, and then I have my own publishing business. So like income wise, you know, like that's pretty much what I'm focusing on this year, is trying to get everything like set in place. But
So what is your ideal agency look like? How many? Because that's the thing when you're
right,
especially in your situation, because I know vast majority of your money is made from your performance fee. When you have an agency that's run primarily on performance fee, you have to be very selective as to where you put your effort, because it's
so
your
for
time
a
is at
lot
stake.
of right. So for a lot of the clients I work with, I don't the best part, however, with this stuff is I don't have to worry about the creatives. So I know for most traditional like e-commerce and info products, that's what I'm trying to look into now. You have to have, most people end up like writing the copy. You also have to wait for them to give you like the creatives, and then you have to like check their funnels and everything, right? So there's a lot of like manual work involved, right? For what I'm doing, however, because most of them already have everything set in place, about 90% of the clients that end up coming to me that end up working with already have an automation sequence that has really good metrics. They have really good like content. They have a really good foundation to their brand, right? So when it comes to working together, it's mostly just like on the execution ability, you know? I would say like 95% of the stuff people are doing, the information's already out there, right? But it's just really about like what to do going forward. So for the clients I pick these days, they're either already making like 5, 10 grand a month, but they're trying to get to like 20, 30, 40, you know? So basically it's not as like time consuming as what other people are doing, but because again with the performance fee, because I charge usually, you know, a big fee up front, and it's all performance based, I usually look at like their numbers and see whether or not like it's something, because the thing is I also have like networking opportunities for all the clients I take on, so they can also like so when it comes to like marketing, right, for instance, like email promotions, right, because I work with a lot of people, I'm also able to get like promotion deals. So for me, like for instance, examples, I picked up this new client back in February, right, who's doing this like one particular genre. I can literally help him get his product out to like 200,000 people, like email wise, you know, without him having to pay anything for it, because it's like a cross promotion thing. So I try to look for people that kind of like amplify what I already have, versus like trying to take on like a different niche or different like genre. It's pretty much like focus on 1 or 2 things. But but for the most part, it's just all repeatable really at this point, you know, because it's because I guess because I've been doing it for quite a long time. So yeah, so I guess it's been pretty great.
So how you have one full-time team member now. How did that come about?
So what happened was I had this like conference we hosted. It was like I was like a speaker at, and like a friend of mine was there, and he actually brought in one of his friends from Peru all the way over, right? So his friend used to be in like MLM, network marketing. I mean, he knows how to hustle. He knows the value of money, and his parents also, they own this huge like paper company in Peru that do like really, really well. But like they have this like $5 million house, like on the equivalent of Beverly Hills, I guess, in Peru, right? But he's looking to make his own money. And then I met him at the event, and he's a really hard worker. You know, I can tell, you know, he has that drive, right? So what happened was when I was after the Meridian Mastermind in October, you know, I started thinking about, you know, because at the time I still had one person like that was working with me after I joined your program, right? But I was thinking like, how can I scale? Like, what kind of team member do I need? Like, what value should I look for? So what happened was in, I think it was like November when I came to Las Vegas, because I'm trying to like live here now for like taxes and all that, right? He ended up coming back. He ended up traveling with my friend to Vegas as well. So that's when we met again. And we kind of talked about things because he has a very good eye for like logistics, because his parents own this huge paper company, right? They have like hundreds of employees, and his dad also like has to like do a lot of systems and everything. So I ended up talking to him, and then we tried it out, and it's been going pretty good. Like he's like, what I really liked about him was a lot of the people I used to work with in 2019, like who I try to bring on to integrate into my agency, like a lot of them don't really think for themselves in a way. It's like I kind of have to micromanage them because I have to tell them, you know, it's like they wait around. They don't do anything if I don't tell them to do anything, right? Whereas when I started working with him, he's like always on point, you know? Like when I first brought him on board, he set up a CRM for me for all my clients, you know, like on Airtable. We put all their links, all their socials, all their like Google Drive information. I mean, I didn't even think about doing it at the time, like, because I had Google Drive, but the way he set it up, right? Like just setting up a database for all the clients I have, like how much they're paying me, what the contracts are. So just by doing that, I was like, he just added like more value, right? But then when I explained to him the process of like how I take my clients from like A to Z, he was like, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? You know, so he adds a lot of value to the team. And that's when I realized like, I'd rather have this guy like full time with me instead of like having all these people come on board and I have to kind of tell them like what to do, you know. He's already thinking about like how to make it even better, you know, because he knows that you know, he'll make like, you know, he'll make more money like working with me than like working for other people. So that's pretty much how it happened.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I think I mean you have a very interesting agency structure. You have a very interesting agency structure. It's very.
I know most people probably wouldn't do it. You know, it's just.
Yeah, it's been very interesting for me to watch.
I think the main reason really though was it's just in this space. I guess because the thing is like I know a lot of people want to like scale up, you know, and it's like I already have like the systems and I know like what it takes to like scale someone up, right? So the way I look at it though is even though they pay me like an upfront fee, you know, depending on how it goes, it's just the fact that like the longest client I've had literally has been with me since 2018. This is actually gonna be 2 years, like next month, and in the last 2 years, she's already paid me like $100,000, you know. So
how much have you made her?
Like a lot more, you know. But it's just the fact that I don't have to like, because I have it all automated now, you know. But the way I look at it is every new person I bring on board, I just figure out like, can I add more value to them, or can they make more money, and if so, like how much more will I make back? So at this point, it's really just it is a huge risk too, you know, because not all the clients I bring on board, sometimes it doesn't work out, you know. But it's also the fact that if they do hit it off really, really big, like, because I have this one client I took on last year, and now she's literally paying me almost like $5 to $7 grand every single month. I think like last month she paid me up to 9, you know. So it's just the fact that like if I have like 5 or 6 of them, that's all I really need, you know, just to like, then I can focus on like the audiobook stuff or info products or try to like work with e-com or info products now, you know. But pretty much, yeah, I would probably not recommend this for like everyone. I guess the reason for me in particular is the fact that it just kind of adds on to what I'm doing, you know, because I already have the publishing stuff already, you know. So it's just kind of like another way to like make money, you know, in the same industry versus like having to figure out, you know, another industry in general. But yeah.
So last question before we wrap this up. Where do you see the rest of 2020 going for your agency?
So
what do you want from it?
Well, for one, just to like, I guess in a way, I really want to grow it to where it can make like 50, 60K a month, like pure profit. I mean, right now it's averaging between like the clients I have with the, like the stuff I sold you, like the upfront fees plus the audiobooks. I mean, it makes it anywhere from like 30 to 40K profit a month, you know? I've had huge months too, like last October, where I collected literally 100K like in profit that month, because I signed on like 3
I
people.
remember that. That was a
Yeah,
crazy
so
month.
they have huge months like that. But for me, I kind of want to get those, like, I guess like the residuals, you know, to get to like 50, 60K a month, and just like keep it there, you know, and just have it like, or just like, you know, keep adding, you know, or growing. But I guess the other thing I'd really like to do is, so the guy the team member I have now, he's also learning that side of the business. So eventually, like, we're looking into the whole idea of whether or not he could also come on board, and maybe I can double like the whole client list, you know, increase the cluster, and, you know, like just have the whole, you know, set up. So I guess for the rest of 2020, my goal with the agency is really to keep it at least 50, 60K profit, like consistently, you know, and just focus on like other stuff, you know, as well. But yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. For a little bit of background for everyone, Bobby's also in copy-based agency, so that's one of the things we're working on in there. Awesome. I see the shirt, the Gadzhi shirt.
Yeah. I ordered like 20 or something, right? And then I ordered.
I was about to say, honestly, like I remember we launched, and obviously it starts coming in. You know, some people are buying the shirts, buying the hoodies. We're seeing the line items. It's like, you know, 150, 40, 70, 150, 40, 70, and then it's like fucking like $2,000. And I was like, who the fuck ordered $2,000 or pounds worth of stock? I think you ordered like 30 or 40 shirts or hoodies.
I think as of now, yeah. So between the agency incubator, like at the party, I think I bought like.
Yeah, and also we did the pre-release and we gave all that to charity. I think you.
Yes, I think I bought like 20 at the party, and then when I got back to America, when you did the official product launch, because I didn't have the hoodies, you know, so I ended up ordering, I think it was like 9 hoodies and like 10 shirts. Because the thing is, I also gave my mom and dad like.
I was about to say, what did you do with all those shirts and hoodies and whatnot?
Dude, I like literally, man, I gotta send you the picture, dude. Literally my wardrobe. Dude, I literally wear this like every day, dude. Like literally, like I think the only, whenever I don't, because I have like so many shirts now, you know, I mean, it's a pretty good shirt, you know, but
it's a great shirt. It's a great shirt.
It is a great shirt, you know? I mean, my girlfriend, like we put all the clothes in the closet, right? And then literally like the whole closet's all like, Gadzhi. Like, so,
well, season 2 soon come. Yeah. Season 2 soon come. All right. Well, dude, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming on.
Appreciate it.